What is going on, my friends? My name is Rich. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rabbit Hole EDC. Now, I think fidgets and EDC have been intertwined for a very, very long time. Some people might not agree with that statement, but I personally think that is the case. So for me, my fidgeting journey or my fidgeting rabbit hole started when I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I'd go outside often, play with friends, build tree forts, build things outside, just having fun as kids were doing. And I always had a knife on me, a little pocket knife. And I'd always flick that sucker open, close, open, close, open, close. And that's where the fixation for fidgeting started for me. And I think over time, it's gone into sliders, mechanical sliders, haptic coins, Chetki, you name it, it's there, I'm fidgeting with it. And that's kind of the case for a lot of people out there, right? The fidgeting part aspect of it, man, it's a deep rabbit's hole for sure. And I think now recently we've seen the next evolution of fidgets in my mind. And what we are going to be taking a look at today is one of those examples. This is the Demoman by Muyi. And this is basically a 5-in-1 fidget that I highly recommend you check out if you're not quite sure what you're into for fidgeting, because this particular fidget does a lot. So let's take a look at it. Let's jump into it. Let's go! All right, here's the Demoman by Muyi in Nayici. So this is the PEI titanium version. So obviously you have the Ultim in the yellowish color here, and then the titanium in the handle, the center pole, and everything else that you can pretty much see with your eyes. And this is actually pretty much 5 fidgets in one, and that's why I think it's really unique. So it's pretty much a ratchet, spinner, slider, you got some linkage and expansion on it. So you can put, right in this hole right here, you can put an expansion bead. So when you're pulling this out and playing with it, you can actually have another bead right up on top here. So you can start fidgeting with that too. I don't have my hands on that bead yet, but as soon as I do, I will share that with you guys. Now, in terms of ratcheting, the actual handle itself ratchets. You can also go up and down like a slider. And as you're going up and down like a mechanical slider, it's giving you that ratchet feel too. So you're getting that haptic feel. So you have those two pieces there. Now, this part right here is like a tight turn, more resistance on this bigger piece of Ultim right here. And then right below it is another piece of Ultim, but it's a lighter resistance on that ratchet. And then you got a free floating spinner back here, but wait, it actually does more than that. So if you close the handle just normally, it'll free spin forever. And this thing will spin for multiple minutes, many minutes, and it's a great spinner, great free floating spinner. But if you pull the handle out all the way and then pop it in, now you have a ratchet feeling on the bottom. So you have ratchet on the bottom, ratchet on the second piece of Ultim, ratchet on the third piece of Ultim, and guess what? They all have different resistances. So you can kind of play around with every single one of them. Very addicting. Very good tactile feedback on that. It feels so good. This is more very tight, but it's a hard thing to describe, but woo, it feels so good. So good. So very tight resistance, very loose resistance, and I would say actually medium type resistance on this particular wheel ratchet right here. And again, if you don't want that ratchet feeling on the bottom, just pull the handle out. And that is pretty much how I mostly use this one right here. I typically hold it in my hand like this. I pull the handle out, put it between a finger, spin it, and I do that a lot as I'm just kind of hanging out on the, watching TV and whatnot. But you can also go back and forth in your hand, back and forth with that ratchet. So lots of little things you can do with the Demoman that is just not, You don't think you can just by looking at it because you're like, what the heck is that weird looking thing? But there's a lot of goodies you can do with this. And I actually have this on my desk a lot too, just kind of fumbling around with it on the desk. And I find myself trying to catch, as it's going around, I find myself trying to catch the handle here to keep the momentum going. So I'm trying to do that for a little while. As I'm talking on the phone, just keeping my attention, just another way to use the Demoman. There's so many little things you can do with it. You can also get this in zirconium. I think the weight is a little bit too much for me personally. You might love it, but the weight on this one is 166 grams, and I think the zirconium one is about 265 or 270. So the weight is substantially heavier. And this one is already pretty hefty. You feel like you have a quality fidget in your hand as soon as you pick this up. There is no doubt about it. Now, if you've been into fidgets for a long time and you've been picking up fidgets for a while, you can tell immediately when you have a good fidget or a cheap fidget, a $15, $20 plastic type of fidget, or you got something of the uttermost higher quality. And there's a lot of attention to detail here. Now on the handle, everything is chamfered and rounded off. So there's nothing that's gonna bite into you, nothing's gonna hurt you at all. And the ratcheting feeling in the sound that you're getting is really, really awesome. I mean, that's the best way to say it. It's so comforting if you're into that type of feedback. So for somebody that likes the tactile sounding feedback, ooh, this is some of the best out there. So that is really my overall opinion and kind of just general overlook, give you guys a little bit more information on the Demoman. Hope you guys enjoyed the overlook review. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next one at the Rabbit Hole. I am out.